GAA, Camogie Association and Ladies Gaelic Football Association have committed to merging into a single organisation by 2027. But while the ambition has broad support, the scale of the task is becoming increasingly clear and the cost is coming into focus. Last week, the chair of the Camogie Association dismissed as nonsense an estimate of €500 million put forward by the GAA President. We'll discuss those costs in a minute. First, Louise Byrne has been trying to understand whether the integration plan remains viable.
People joke that integrating the three Gaelic Games associations might be harder than achieving a united Ireland. But the ambition is that in less than a year and a half, under the guidance of Mary McAleese, three will become one.
By 2027, we will have one organisation, one membership.
Fixtures, finance and facilities. The three Fs that the three organisations will have to merge.
Come together right now over me.
But for one of those Fs at least, facilities, many GAA clubs are already integrated. Lots have the one club model and others just already have shared access to pitches and gyms. At one of the country's best known clubs, home to Camogie All-Star Ursula Jacob, integration has already happened organically.
It just happened very natural, where I think there's a huge level of respect for everyone in the club.
How does it work on a day-to-day basis, Shane? Like, how do you decide who uses pitches when, where?
I suppose matches get priority all the time, whether that's a camogie match or a hurling match, they always have priority, so that sorts that out. And then it's whoever puts down the booking first, really. And oftentimes you'll see 3 and 4 teams on the pitch here together.
The next generation at this club won't know a time when they weren't equal. From underage right up to senior, facilities are shared across 22 teams.
We have 2 pitches. We have an Astro and we've the use of another pitch down behind the school in the Balloch. But I suppose we still struggle for space at times, so it's not easy all the time to integrate, but we make it work. We try to make it work.
Are there times then, Shane, when men's teams wouldn't be able to play because the women's teams have been prioritised?
Yes, there are times, yeah. Look, it's whoever, if there's a match on, they wouldn't be able to train until after the match is over. Or they train before the match, you know. We'd bring our times forward and back to suit the other team. So there are absolutely times. And there's times girls don't get to play because the boys are playing, so it happens both ways.
And over the years, actually, a lot of the coaches that have been involved on the hurling side have actually coached a lot of the camogie teams. Yeah. So again, they're not looking at gender here. They're looking at it's an Owler to Balloch team. And, you know, I think that's why it works so seamlessly between both the camogie and hurling.
Replicating what happens here on a national scale is the challenge. Some clubs won't have as many facilities. And then there's the county grounds and how they're used. There is scepticism of the 2027 timeline.
It's over-ambitious, Louise. Completely over-ambitious. There's a hell of a lot of money required. A hell of a lot of goodwill required too. I'm not seeing it. There's not a lot of detail out there at the moment. That's a big concern.
Suggestions too that the women's associations should have integrated together before joining with the GAA.
The feeling in the GAA would be that the 2 female organisations should amalgamate first, and that would make it a hell of a lot easier because they have their own difficulties in terms of fixtures, in terms of dual players playing on the same day, playing on the same weekend. It's very tough for them.
And there's the full-time whistle, and Laois have done it 12 months on from their disappointment of last year.
Arguably the biggest issues with integration will be at inter-county level. Laois Camogie had a brilliant season. Joint manager Pat Collier led them to an All-Ireland title. But speaking out for the first time, he says the squad is not being given fair access to the county's pitches and stadium.
We're always requesting, we're always begging, but it's just not happening, you know. And for our main county grounds, O'Moore Park, I think we had 5 home games this year and we got in once.
Laois has a centre of excellence. Last season, their All-Ireland winning camogie team trained here just 3 times.
They train as hard as any men's team I was ever involved with, but they're definitely showing no respect. And I know tomorrow morning there is no county board can give their ladies footballers or lady camogie 50% access to their facilities because they don't have enough facility. But they can surely start by giving 15 or 20.
You haven't spoken out about this before. Why do you feel now that you want to say this isn't good enough?
I've been at all Laois camogie matches at adult level. Because my daughter was involved, I'd be taking her away, and other girls in the parish, and we'd be all at these matches. But I mean, for anybody who is GAA and sport at heart, to see into a car coming home from matches and seeing girls cry because of the way they're being treated with facilities is hugely frustrating for me. And I'll be on this bus and wagon on this till the day I go to my grave until this happens. This integration has to happen.
Laois GAA outlined to Primetime the pressure it has facilitating its own county squads, league matches and boys and girls schools competitions, saying it often has to use alternative venues and calling for urgent investment in greenfield sites. It said it was committed to making facilities available to Laois camogie where feasible, including hosting this year's county final and ongoing training of referees. All around the country, you will hear there are not enough facilities to meet the demands of 3 different Gaelic Games codes. And then there's the runaway train, that is the costs of inter-county teams. If women are entitled to the same expenses and support as the men's teams, those are eye-watering figures. GAA President Jarlath Burns wants to rein in the now huge spending on inter-county teams and their support structures. But even still, he's put the cost of integration at €500 million.
Yeah, it probably startled me a little bit. I wasn't expecting a figure like that. And I suppose what maybe was a little bit worrying then, Brian Molloy came out and said that was nonsense kind of figure. And that, to me, I'm kind of wondering, Brian and Jarlath are both on the steering committee. So I would be hoping that they're kind of singing off the same hymn sheet.
I think the feeling from the GAA certainly is that this should be grown organically with the one club policy, which we're seeing in a lot of clubs like Ellert at the moment. But being shouted from down, as some people feel, county chairpersons definitely feel it at the moment, I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
Integrating Gaelic Games would be a culturally historic moment, shaping a legacy for the next generation. But nobody is underestimating the scale of the challenge.
I think we've shown here that it's not impossible. It's vital, that girls and boys have equal access, equal opportunity moving forward. And I think wherever the obstacles, it has to work, and we have to make it happen.